Hi, thank you so much for joining me tonight. So it's actually Thursday night for me, but I guess this won't go up until Friday. And I was just really in the mood to play around with some makeup before going to bed tonight. So I decided to get out my Pat McGrath Blitz quads. So Friday morning, March 27th, the Blitz Astral quads are back in stock on Pat McGrath's website, I believe starting at 9 a.m. Eastern time. And so I just wanted to go through some of the looks that you can create with these. So I have a look for each of the three quads. I did do reviews, or did I do reviews? I know I've used these quads in previous videos, but I think I actually purchased these prior to them coming, before I started a channel. So I don't know, it was somewhere around that time. So anyway, I do have some videos that have looks with these before, and I will link that down below in the description box if you're interested in seeing some other looks. But I wanted to just kind of give you guys a preview of what you can do with each of these quads. So I have one eye each for the Ritualistic Rose and Iconic Illumination quad, and then this look here for the Nocturnal Nirvana, which happens to be my favorite. So I just wanted to go through with you guys real quickly how these are packaged. This is Nocturnal Nirvana. This is Ritualistic Rose. And then we have Iconic Illumination. Each of these quads are 4 shadows of some of the special shades from Pat McGrath. So I don't believe any of these are repeats. I believe they are all new shades. And since they are special shades, you are not getting any mattes. Okay, so you can use these, in addition to another palette, or I used these on my own. Aside for the Ritualistic Rose, I paired that with Divine Rose for a matte shade. But other than that, all of the looks I created were just using these special shades. However, I have used them paired with other palettes, and they work very nicely. Now, one thing to know about all of these, and this is true of all of Pat McGrath's special shades, actually her shadows in general, they will produce fallout if you are sweeping with a brush. So it is best to pat on with your finger if you want to avoid fallout, or just do your eye makeup first before you put on anything else. So I always forget to do that because I just always start off doing my base. So I usually end up having some fallout and I kind of forget. So you can see I've got a little bit of fallout here. This particular quad did not give me as much fallout as some of the others, but I think that was mostly due to my application. I used a little bit more of my fingers and more of a tapping motion versus a sweeping motion with a brush. And that does make a huge difference with these shadows. All right, so each of these quads are unique. This one here, Nocturnal Nirvana, has blues, greens, and golds. And I do have to say, out of all of the 3 quads, this purple shade, although it's beautiful in the pan, it really kind of smokes out more to a black and kind of disappears. It fades a little bit. So I feel like that one is not up to par with the other shades. However, this is still my favorite quad because I love these colors. I mean, just look how sparkly this green is. And it's just, it's beautiful. So that is my favorite quad, although that purple shade is, in my opinion, the worst of the 12 shades in these quads. Ritualistic Rose came out before Divine Rose, I think, before it came out the first time. But it makes a really good companion to Divine Rose. So if you have the Divine Rose palette, or you missed out on it, this is kind of like it gives you a little flavor of that. So these shades are all lighter. This copper shade is the deepest, but these other, like these 2 here, are more like glittery topper type. This one, this rosy burgundy pink, is a little bit deeper, but it's still not super deep. So you can go really light on this, or you can build them up, tap them with your fingers to get more pigment. So it's a really versatile quad, and it pairs beautifully with, I think it pairs beautifully with neutrals, like taupey brownish neutrals, or with the Divine Rose quad. So those are the ways that I personally like to wear that one. Iconic Illumination. This one has what you would probably think of as the most neutral shades. And, you know, I like this one. It's just not one that I use a ton of. So this brown shade here is the most matte out of all 12 of these shades. It is actually more of a satin finish, but when you kind of buff it out, you can get a little bit more of a matte look. So this makes a great base shade, and you can really buff it out to get, you know, a light shade or keep it dark. So it's pretty versatile. And, you know, overall, I think all of these shades are beautiful. I really like this deep burgundy. This coppery shade here is a little more of an orangey copper on my skin. It gets really bright and warm toned. So it's a nice shade, but it's not my favorite. And yeah, you know, these three I really enjoy a lot. So, and you know, one of the things to know about this burgundy shade, pairing reds and pinks near my eyes can often, you know, make them look very red, sore, ill, you know, that type of thing. But that burgundy shade has a really nice kind of neutral undertone where it doesn't do that. So I can put that one against my lash line and it doesn't look so weird. So just another note, if you are somebody like me who the pinks and the reds, you have a hard time putting them right up against your lashes because you feel like it makes your eyes look red and watery, I would definitely use more of like a gold, or, you know, if you're using one of these other quads, you know, another color right along the lash line, and it'll break it up, but you can still get that nice rosy look. And that's what I usually do with a lot of these pink shadows, just in general. So that's just my little thing. I think the liner can make a huge difference in how your eye health looks. Okay, so I just wanted to give you guys some swatches of the quads, just in case. I know they are all over the place online. So we're gonna start off with Ritualistic Rose, and I'm going from left to right, top to bottom. So here are the 4 shades. And there we go. So you can see these are all very sparkly. They are gorgeous. And again, these can be very light or very, well, you can pack them on to make them darker. So, okay, so for Iconic Illumination, again, we're going to go left to right, top to bottom. Here are the 4 shades. I'm going to put that right underneath. All right, so we've got this gold glittery topper. Here is that burgundy color, the chocolate brown, and then this coppery gold. And for Nocturnal Nirvana here, okay, these are the 4 shades. And here we go. So you can kind of see with this purple one how it kind of shears out, gets a little black. This one does tend to fade a bit. But again, these other colors are gorgeous. And although this light blue appears very light, you can kind of tap it on and make it deeper. Let's see here. Well, a little hard to do on here, but it can go a little bit more opaque than it is. And this green is just heavenly. So these are the shades in the quads. So we have Ritualistic Rose, Iconic Illumination, and Nocturnal Nirvana. Thank you. So, yeah, I think that's basically everything for packaging. They all come in this cardboard box with a little, you know, a little string tie thing. And inside you have a list with the names of the shadows. And then the actual palette here is the same as the Mothership palettes. You know, that black plastic. Then you've got a mirror here, and then the 4 shades. And the back, again, is going to have the gold, just like the Mothership palettes. So that is everything. So if you're interested in seeing some eye looks, stay tuned. We're going to start off with Ritualistic Rose. Then we'll move into iconic Illumination, and then we will end with my favorite Nocturnal Nirvana. So thank you so much for joining me today, and stay tuned if you're interested. Have a great day. Okay, so on this eye, we are going to go ahead and use the Ritualistic Rose quad, which looks like this. But to start off with, I'm actually going to dip into Divine Rose. And so this is the big mothership, and I'm going to go into this shade right here, just as a little base. So I'm using the Refer 16, and I'm just going to get a little bit here on the tip of my brush, tap off any excess, and add this into my crease. So I'm just going to kind of blow this out a little bit, up to the brow bone and out a little. Okay, so that's it. I just wanted to have a little bit of a matte base. So that's it for Divine Rose, but I do want to focus on Ritualistic Rose. Okay, so with Ritualistic Rose, I am going to go into this light pink one here. This is the Sonia G Soft Shader. And I'm just going to kind of pack it onto the sides of my bristles. And I am packing this on here and getting a little bit in the crease. This shade is more of a topper shade. And honestly, looking at it, I couldn't completely remember because it's been a while since I've used that. But I do just want to get a little bit of sparkle here. And I'm actually planning on going over this with these two colors here on the bottom. So I'm just going to wipe this brush off and use this one again. So I'm going to go into this more burgundy pink shade with the same brush. And this is going on the inner portion. Okay, wipe that off, and I'm going into the copper brown now. That's going on the second half. Okay, now I'm going to take the Refer 16 that I used originally with the matte shade, and I'm just going to kind of blend the edges here around the crease. All right, I think we need a little more blending. Just wiping the brush off. Okay, and now I'm going to go into this gold shade, and I am using my finger here. So I'm going to get some here, and I'm going to tap down the center where the two colors kind of overlap. Okay, and now that I barely have any on, I'm just going to kind of tap over there a little bit. Okay, and now I'm going to use another finger and go into this pink one here, and just tap on the very, very center portion of that gold. All right, so that's it for that. I do feel like maybe I tapped a little bit too much on the darker shades, so I'm just going to go in with that soft shader brush again. Tap a little bit on here, and I'm using the other side of the brush for the copper. All right, and now I do want to go below the eyes. So I'm going to take this pencil brush. This is the pencil one from Sonia G. And I'm going to go into this shade here. And I'm just kind of twirling my brush in it and tapping off any excess. I'm going to drag this down the lower lash line. Wiping that off, and now I'm going into this copper, the same brush, again, a twirly motion, and I'm going to go right below that shade. All right, I'm wiping the brush off, and I'm going into this gold shade just to put a little bit on the inner corner here. All right, and just a final blending with a rougher 16. And you can see I definitely had some fallout here with the shadows. That is to be expected with these glitter shades. However, I did, you know, if I use my fingers, you'll get a lot less fallout. But with these, I would recommend probably putting down makeup afterwards. All right, so here is my look with Ritualistic Rose. And I'll finish these off with some eyeliner. Be right back. Okay, so here is the finished eye with Ritualistic Rose. And it's just a pretty light, easy look to do. I finished it off with the Chantecaille Luster Glide Silk Infused Eyeliner in Raven, which is just black. And I just lined the upper lash line and I did the waterline on my lower lash line. And I finished it off with the Lancome Monsieur Big mascara. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next quad. And this time we are using the Blitz Astral quad in Iconic Illumination, which is the one in the red packaging. And that looks like this. This is the most neutral of all of them. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. And I am going to go ahead and I'm using the Sonia G Blender Pro. And I'm gonna start off in this deep chocolate shade. And I'm just gonna get a little bit here on the tip of my brush and go into the crease. So I'm really gonna kind of blend this out. Just gonna kind of add a little bit to the actual lid on the outer corner. Okay, so I think that's well buffed. And now I'm going to go in with a more precise brush. And this is the Rougher 02, and it's just kind of like a flat shader type brush. And I'm going to go in with this burgundy shade. I'm going to put this on the outer half of my lid. And just kind of tapping a little excess, a little bit past the halfway point so you can see that it's a lot lighter there. I'm wiping this brush off and I'm going to go into this deep gold down here with the same brush, and I'm doing the inner portion here. I'm kind of blending the two shades together by tapping over it. So I have a little bit of a gradient there. All right, so next I want to deepen up that outer corner. So I'm taking the Pencil Pro brush from Sonia G. I'm going back into this chocolate shade and I'm kind of twirling my brush in it so I kind of have it all over the tip. And I'm just going to kind of deepen this up. And I am actually going to drag this down the lower lash line here. Bring that up a little bit. So I'm kind of exaggerating this V a little bit and bringing it into the crease there. All right, so now I'm going to go back in with the Blender Pro and kind of buff this part here. Okay, and I'm going in now with this is the Kevin O'Quan small eyeshadow eyebrow brush. So it's just like another pencil type. And I'm going to go into this sparkly shade here, and I'm twirling my brush into it, tapping off the excess. This is essentially glitter. I am just going into the inner corner here, and I am dragging this along the lower lash line, a little bit over the edges of the brown before. I'm going to use this same brush after wiping it off. I'm going to go into this copper shade and the red. So I'm just kind of going back and forth between the two. I'm going to run this along the lower lash line now. And I'm going right below the brown and the gold. Okay, anything extra, I'm just kind of adding in to the shade there on the inner corner. And now I'm going to go back in. I wipe the brush off, just getting a little bit of that glitter. I'm going to put this on the eyebrow arch. And I am finally going to take my finger and again, the same gold shade. I'm just going to put some down the center there, so it gets that really glistening look. All right, and just to finish up, back in with the Blender Pro and just blending these edges. All right, so that is it for Iconic Illumination. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the liner, and I will be right back. So this is the final eye look with Iconic Illumination. Okay, and I'm gonna sit back and let you guys see from a distance. Okay, so this is the final look for the Ritualistic Rose and the Iconic Illumination quads. So this side here is Ritualistic Rose, and this is Iconic Illumination. So they look kind of similar, the looks I end up doing, just because of the way I end up placing things. But you can see that the Iconic Illumination is going to be much deeper, and it does have this dark brown shadow, and it's like more of a satin shade. But you know, because of that, it's just a much more matte appearance than the other shades, even though it's technically more of a satin. But it does kind of lend a darkness essentially to the other shadows. And then obviously this deeper maroon, you know, gets a really nice look as well. For Ritualistic Rose, again, I used the matte from Divine Rose on the background, but these shadows in general are much lighter. It pairs really well with the Divine Rose palette. It's kind of like a nice addendum. For finishing both eyes, I finished both of them the same way with the Chantecaille, I can't find it now, the Chantecaille Luster Glide eyeliner pencil in Raven, which is just a black eyeliner. And I did the upper lash line and the waterline on both, and I used Lancome Monsieur Big. So the rest of the makeup, I know I went overboard on the blush. I was playing around with the Viseart palette, and I wanted to try one of the deeper shades, and I just ended up applying too much. So to even it out, this is kind of how it ended up looking. So lips, I have on the Pat McGrath Luxe Trans lipstick in, what is this? Los Angeles, which is a nude. And then I have just a tiny bit of the Under Your Spell This is one of the Opulist glosses on top of that. So that is everything that I have on. Oh, wait, highlight, I forgot. I used the Surratt Torche Lumiere and Diamante. So that is everything that I have on here. And again, just a close-up of each of these looks. And these quads make a great addendum to other palettes, especially if you've got like a matte palette that maybe, you know, from another brand or whatever that you just kind of want to jazz up. These make a great addition to that. So my favorite one though is Nocturnal Nirvana, which is the blue one. So I will be back. I'm going to do a look with those, and that one will be on both eyes. So thanks so much. Okay, so with Nocturnal Nirvana, I'm starting off with the Sonia G Classic Crease Brush, and I'm going into this gold shade here. And I'm just tapping any excess off of the brush. And again, this is a very light shade, but I actually plan on mixing this with the blue next to it. So I'm just getting a little bit of a wash of sparkle, essentially, up here on the brow bone. And I'm using the same brush, and I'm going into this light blue shade next to it. And I'm getting this all over the brush, tapping off the excess, and going in here and bringing it down on the outer half as well. All right, so next I'm going into this green shade, and this green shade's actually, I'm not sure if you can really tell in the pan here, but it's more of a like duochrome. It shifts purple and green. This is the Esom W23. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to apply this over the majority of my lid here. And I am tapping this on. You can see this shade is very vibrant, and I love this green. Next, I'm taking the Sonia G Soft Shader, and I'm going into this purple shade. And I'm going to put this on the outer corners. And I'm doing more of a tappy motion. Okay, back in with a crease brush with no new product, and I'm just blending here. Next, I'm going in with the Sonia G Flat Definer, and I'm going back into this blue shade here. And I'm getting it all over the tip. I'm going to go into the inner corner here. All right, and I'm going to run this along the lower lash line as well. Same brush, I just cleaned it off, and I'm going to use a little bit of this gold and go under the blue on the lower lash line. All right, I'm going back into the gold to just do a little bit under the brow arch. All right, and I want to make this eye a little bit more deep with the green. So I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to kind of just pat on a little bit more green in the center. And you can see how much more vibrant it is tapping this on. And then I'm going to take my finger and go into the blue next to that and just add a little bit of the blue on both sides of that green stripe. Well, I think while we're at it, I'll go ahead and add a little bit of the purple as well. The purple is probably the color I think works the least well in this palette because it kind of blends away a little too easily. So it's not my favorite shade in here. I mean, I think it's absolutely a gorgeous color. Just doesn't have as much lasting power as the others. But for me, the green and the blue and the gold, you know, I love these. So I think I'm going to add just a little bit more gold on the lower lash line. Again, underneath the blue. And I'm going to just kind of drag that into the inner corner a little bit so they merge. Okay, I'll be back. I'm going to finish up the eyeliner and mascara, and then I will be back. Okay, so I'm back, and this was the final eye look here. And I lined my eyes this time with the Pat McGrath Permagel eye pencil in Blitz Blue. So this is a really pretty sparkly blue. And I did the upper lash line and the waterline and just a little extension, not like a real wing or anything. But then I used the Lancome Monsieur Big mascara. So everything else I have on, I am wearing in all of the looks. I have on the Surat Dewdrop Foundation in shade 1.5 mixed with the By Terry Starlight Rose Glow Booster. And for under eyes, I am wearing the Clé de Peau Radiant Corrector for Eyes. And setting powder is the Chantecaille Perfect Blur Finishing Powder. So that was true for all of them, as well as the Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel in Taupe. For this look, for blush, I have on the Chanel, the 330 Rose Pétillante. This is the newer one that came out with the LeBlanc collection. And highlight is the Éclat Brillant from Chantecaille from the Holiday collection. For lips, I'm wearing the Pat McGrath, the Done Undone lip pencil. And then I have this is one of the mini ones. This is the Lust Gloss in Dare to Bear. So that is everything that I have on for this look. And I hope this was fun for you guys. It was fun for me to play around again. And I just wanted to say thank you for watching. And I really appreciate all of you guys who continue to watch my videos. And, you know, I hope it's fun for you because it's fun for me. And if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you so much and have a great day.